The world had witnessed destruction before, but never like this. A once thriving metropolis now stood on the edge of annihilation, its towering skyscrapers reduced to skeletal remains, streets cracked and torn as if the very earth had rebelled. The air was thick with smoke and the scent of burning metal, mingling with the eerie silence that his stance was solid, his body unyielding, his expression one of pure determination. Though not as physically imposing as the Hulk in sheer size, he carried with him the experience of countless battles, the wisdom of a seasoned fighter, and the unbreakable will of a warrior. This was more than a fight. It was a clash of titans, a battle between two forces of nature. The city would not emerge unscathed. A deep growl rumbled from Hulk's throat before he launched himself forward, the sheer force of his leap cracking the pavement beneath him. In less than a second, he was upon the thing, swinging a fist the size of a wrecking ball. The impact sent shockwaves through the ground, sending shattered concrete flying in all directions. The thing staggered back, his rock-hard body absorbing the blow, but feeling the raw power behind it. Without hesitation, he countered, swinging his own massive fist into Hulk's ribcage. The impact echoed like thunder, forcing the green giant to slide backward, his heels carving deep trenches into the asphalt. Neither warrior hesitated. The battle had begun. Hulk roared, his rage growing with every second. He reached down, ripping an abandoned city bus from the street, as if it were made of paper. With one mighty heave, he hurled it toward the thing, the vehicle spinning through the air like a deadly projectile. The thing didn't flinch. He met the bus head-on with a devastating punch, shattering it into pieces before it could reach him. The wreckage rained down around him, but he remained unscathed. Hulk was already charging again, closing the distance with terrifying speed. He tackled the thing, wrapping his massive arms around him and lifting him clean off the ground before driving him through a nearby building. The structure collapsed instantly, engulfing them both in a cloud of dust and debris. For a moment, silence filled the air. Then, from within the wreckage, a burst of movement. The thing emerged, pushing aside concrete slabs as he rose to his feet, coughing out dust. He cracked his knuckles, his eyes locked onto Hulk, who was already climbing out of the rubble with a snarl. "All right, big guy," the thing muttered to himself. "Let's see what you got." The Hulk was growing stronger. His breathing deepened, his muscles bulged even further, his skin darkening as his rage fueled his power. He slammed his fists into the ground, causing a tremor that sent shockwaves through the battlefield. Then he struck. With blinding speed, he closed the gap and delivered a brutal uppercut, sending the thing soaring through the air. Before he could land, Hulk was already leaping, intercepting him mid-flight and slamming him back down into the pavement with enough force to form a crater. The thing groaned, feeling the impact shake every fiber of his being. Hulk was relentless, not giving him a second to recover. The green behemoth grabbed him by the leg and swung him like a rag doll, smashing him into a nearby skyscraper, then into the ground again, then into an overturned truck, crushing it completely. The battlefield was now barely recognizable, buildings torn apart, the streets covered in rubble. Hulk stood over the thing, breathing heavily, eyes burning with uncontainable rage. But the thing wasn't done yet. Through sheer willpower, the thing pushed himself up. His body ached, his rocky exterior chipped in places, but his spirit remained unbroken. He had fought stronger enemies before. He had survived worse. And he wasn't about to let some oversized rage monster take him down. He took a moment to observe Hulk. The green giant's movements had become more erratic, his breaths heavier, his rage uncontrolled. And that was the key. Hulk's strength was limitless, but it came at a cost. His lack of control. The thing used that to his advantage. When Hulk came charging again, fists raised high, the thing didn't brace for impact. He dodged. He rolled aside at the last second, causing Hulk's punch to strike the ground with such force that it sent cracks spreading through the entire street. Before Hulk could recover, the thing struck back, landing a devastating punch to Hulk's ribs. The impact sent Hulk skidding backward, smashing through a half-standing building. Now, the tide was turning. The thing pressed his advantage, striking Hulk again and again, each punch carrying the full weight of his strength. Hulk tried to counter, but his movements were slower, his rage clouding his ability to react effectively. With one final earth-shattering punch, the thing struck Hulk square in the face. The impact sent the Green Titan flying backward, crashing into what remained of a collapsed bridge. The ground beneath him gave way, and for the first time, the Hulk remained still. The city fell silent. The battlefield lay in ruins, a broken skeleton of what was once a thriving metropolis. Skyscrapers that had once stood tall and proud were now reduced to mangled steel and shattered glass, their frames jutting out like the bones of a fallen giant. The streets, once bustling with life, were now cracked and torn apart, lined with debris and the wreckage of abandoned vehicles. Fires flickered in the distance, sending dark plumes of smoke into the evening sky, painting the horizon with an eerie glow. The air was thick with the acrid scent of destruction, burnt metal, dust, and the faint lingering trace of battle. The clash between these two titans had reshaped the very landscape, carving deep scars into the earth that would take years, perhaps decades, to heal. Buildings had collapsed under the sheer force of their blows, roads had caved in from their impact, and entire city blocks had been leveled in the wake of their struggle. What had once been a place of industry and progress was now nothing more than a battlefield, a graveyard of shattered concrete and broken dreams. Somewhere amidst the devastation, a low rumble stirred beneath the rubble. Beneath layers of debris, the Hulk's massive form began to shift. His once unbreakable body, battered and bruised, twitched with the first signs of life. Slowly, his deep green skin, smeared with dust and cracks, started to regain its usual hue, his wounds closing, his muscles reforming. His breath came in slow, labored gasps, but his strength, his limitless, monstrous power, was already beginning to return. The battle had ended, but the force of his rage was not so easily extinguished. This fight had been different. For the first time in a long time, the Hulk had been beaten. His mind, still clouded by the lingering echoes of fury, struggled to process the reality of his defeat. But deep within him, beyond the rage, beyond the instinct to fight, there was something else. A smoldering ember of unfinished business. A rivalry that would never truly be over. For now, however, there was only silence. The dust settled. The fires smoldered. The echoes of destruction faded into the stillness of the ruined city. The thing stood victorious, his rocky chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. His body bore the marks of battle, deep cracks in his orange-hued skin, patches of stone chipped away from the force of the blows he had endured. Every inch of him ached, but he remained standing, a monument of resilience amidst the wreckage. He had won, but there was no celebration, no triumph in his stance. Victory had come at a cost, as it always did. He looked around at the devastation, at the city that had become collateral in a war between giants. There were no crowds to cheer his name, no voices to hail him as the champion. There was only the sound of the wind whistling through the broken buildings, the distant crackle of flames, and the weight of what had transpired. With one last glance toward the fallen Hulk, the thing exhaled, rolling his shoulders as he turned away. He had fought, he had endured, and he had won. But he knew, deep down, that this was not the end. One day, the Hulk would rise again. One day, they would fight once more. But that was a battle for another time.